Alright people, welcome to it. Another edition of the rounds. We're about to pour a pint of knowledge. This is part 2, potentially part 3, depending on which way the film rolls out, of the Weekend of Awesomeness. This Weekend of Awesomeness on Brewed There, Drank That is brought to you by Wise Hybrid and Jester King. Proving one good old school saying, don't fuck around in Texas. That's about that's about it, really. So this week, I had the absolute pleasure of having one of my viewers hook me up with a couple of local offerings from his area. And I gotta tell you, Austin is killing it. It's Jester King Brewing. They believe in secondary fermentation, so every single beer in every single bottle is secondary fermented, 750s only. They are green of mind, so they use harvested rainwater. They also have fantastic packaging, and by that I mean they properly label their beer, and they had to fight to do so. Made a big impact in terms of local legislation and sticking up for craft brewing inside the borders of Texas. So today is our second offering. We're going to scope out the Wytchmaker. Now, like I said, I love their packaging because they realize that their customers are educated. So, harvested rainwater, this is their ingredients list. Harvested rainwater, organic malted barley, organic two-row malt, malted rye, non-organic malted barley, and that's Carapils malt, debittered black malt. And then for the hops, you've got Warrior, Cascade, Centennial, Amarillo, Simcoe, and an English dry ale yeast. But that reads like almost like a top 5 of my favorite hops. So I'm really excited to see what they did in terms of the rye profile and the hops profile. This puppy comes in at 6.8% alcohol by volume, and again is re-fermented inside the bottle. Now, where did they come up with the name Wytchmaker for a rye IPA, you ask? Well, they wanted to take a little step back in time, back into history, like so many of my favorite brewers do. And they kind of shone a little spotlight on the fact that the real culprit of the Salem witch trials was infested rye crops. So that area grew rye, used it to make rye bread, those kinds of things. And there happened to be a bit of mold, ergo or ergot. I'm going to assume from the spelling that that word is French, so I'm going to say ergot rot, but we'll see. What else do we need to know? Jester King uses wooden barrels to age their beers as well before throwing them into the bottle for secondary fermentation. Very, very nice stuff. That's ridiculous. Wafting, I get Warrior. I do get Cascade. I can almost pick out the Centennial too, a little grassy. That's fantastic. Fantastic bouquet. In terms of your color, kind of a deep orange, little lighter around the edges. Nice effervescence to it. Again, that secondary fermentation is really going to kick that up a notch and make it that much more enjoyable when you crack her open. Good weight to it. The waiting is the hardest part. So, just in case I wasn't specifically clear enough, Wise Hybrid, badass. Thank you so much for hooking me up with Jester King's Noble King and Jester King's Wytchmaker. I haven't tasted the Wytchmaker yet, but I'm in a position where I feel I can bet comfortably. Big pockets in the effervescence. Nice malt build though, but I mean really big, almost bread like that size of the air pockets you get inside like a sourdough. So this is probably going to break down a bit. What? That is phenomenal. Fantastic, funky, fruity esters. I haven't really gotten a sturdy dose of the rye yet, but I'm really blown away because the varietals of hops they've used and these funky esters that you normally wouldn't expect out of like a rye IPA, or for the most part, and I mean IPAs can get you some really nice fruity characteristics, but typically it's only one. I just got 3 or 4. I literally got a little bit of melon. There's a little bit of melon. There's a light. I can tell it's still an ester, like, but it's starting to. It's like it's bound to the grassier hops, like the Centennial hop. But there is some funky ester surrounding that grassy hop note as well. Watermelon, almost like, and not like full on biting into a fresh watermelon, but almost more kind of the funky ester you'd get out of like a bubble yum watermelon. So, but I think it's actually really good, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. These guys do 750s only. They made a huge impact. Wow. And they make huge pours. Or that could be my fault. Whatever. They made a huge impact for craft brewing in terms of what they can do in Texas. They can now actually label their beer appropriately, gearing it better to their consumer. 750s only. Absolutely amazing stuff. Get out there. Support them. Thank you, Jester King. Thank you, Wise Hybrid. You guys are badasses, and we'll see you over our next pint, which is actually going to be in just a minute here because I've got some Cajun pork going. So we'll see you in a minute.